We are very fortunate to have with us by phone, probably from some kind of yacht somewhere, Philly Ocean and Tommy Buoy. Is that who's with you, Philly?
Billy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's our lead guitar player extraordinaire, man of many talents.
And Philly Ocean, you are the lead singer of Yachtley Crew. You guys are in Yachtley Crew, and we're very excited for you guys to come back to the area. Not so excited that we're like losing it, but excited enough to maybe have that second frozen daiquiri. You know what I mean?
What do we got to get you to do so that you lose it, so that you just are insanely out of your minds excited to come see Yachtley Crew again at Indian Ranch?
I would say it would have to be a Pablo Cruz medley, okay?
Whoa. Okay.
A medley.
We can do that.
Okay.
I think we could do that, yeah.
Okay. That's what it's going to take.
Level keep us together. What's he going to do? Maybe medley of those two.
Yeah. All right. So if you're not familiar with Yachtley Crew, they are the number one yacht rock band in the nation. You guys, you do the whole thing. You dress the part. You do the songs, which people may deny knowing, but everybody that's ever listened to radio, like myself in the 70s and 80s and maybe sometimes 90s, knows these songs. They're all gigantic hits. And so the first question I have for you guys, since you are the premier experts, it's is it the artist or is it the song that makes it yacht rock? Like there are artists who are yacht rock artists, like I mentioned Pablo Cruz, but then there are some songs.
Yeah.
Right. So what is it to you guys?
We get roped into this. We get roped into this conversation all the time. And the greatest thing is that people love to have real strong opinions about what is and is not yacht. For us, it's a little different. Like it's a clearly defined genre. We generally define it as, 70s and 80s soft rock hits. Sometimes an artist has a couple songs that are in it and a bunch of their catalog is not. But it's one of those things. It's kind of a vibe. It's a feeling. For us as live performers, we let the audience decide. We've tried songs, that people say, well, that's not yacht rock. But I'll tell you what, when the crowd is screaming and singing along, it sure as heck sounds like yacht rock to me.
Yeah, and you guys are going to be down at Indian Ranch in Webster. You've played there before. You're right on the water. Are you going to be arriving by bus, helicopter, or personal Yacht Rock yacht?
We're traveling in our land yacht right now, which is a massive tour bus. 7 band members and 5 crew. We're all stuffed onto this thing. So that's how we're doing our 2024 Full Steam Ahead tour all across the country. We got over 32 dates just in 2 months. And, not only are we in Webster at Indian Ranch, but we have 3 other dates in and around the Boston area. We're in Cohasset, Providence, and Hyannis. So it's
if you know, I am from Warwick, Rhode Island originally.
Wow.
We're a LA band, but I'm a New England.
The hometown hero this coming weekend.
Wow. No Warwick gigs?
Providence.
Providence.
Enough,
okay. Yeah. Providence. Okay. Yeah. You haven't played have you ever played the yacht, what I consider the yacht rock capital of Massachusetts, and that would be Nantucket Island?
No, but we're playing out in Hyannis, Cape Cod, so, just to skip across the water. But I'd love to get to Nantucket or the Vineyard at some point.
That's kind of like, would that be like
Nantucket?
Would that be a yacht rock mecca?
100%. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And it's, at this point, I think it's just inevitable. We'll get there. We've been doing this since 2017, and the last 2-3 years, the uptick in our fan base and the audience response has just been absolutely mind-blowing. I mean, especially even this year, 2024, we've been out on the road for the last 31 days, and the audiences that are showing up are like triple and quadruple the size that it has been, even from the year before. We've been playing markets we've never been to before and showing up to, we just played Delaware 2 nights ago, almost 2,000 people. We've never been to Delaware before. So it's crazy to see this tidal wave of people showing up to our shows.
And you guys just don't play the music. I mean, this is, like you said, a show, right? Like, what are some of the other things you guys have going on during your live show?
Well, our bass player likes to say that we're the Kiss of soft rock, which means, we have choreo, we have lighting, there's stage banter, we interact with the crowd. So, yeah, it's like, we always say anybody can go out and play the songs, but we're here to entertain you.
We love the crowd interaction. People show up. If you've never been to a Yachtley Crew show before, the greatest thing about this is people get involved. They pregame with their friends. They're making pina coladas at home. They're having daiquiri, whatever they love, and they're wearing their captain's hats and their sailor outfits to the show, and they're just ready to party. It's an event like no else.
Well, now you guys have you have an EP out, and is this your first recording that you've put out?
Yeah, pretty much, right? Seize the Day is our EP that came out, and it's got one original and 5 songs that you know and love from the 70s and 80s. And, you know, we kind of put our own twists on them. We're very loyal to the song, to the originals, but we like to rock them a little bit harder, make it a little more modern.
People have loved it, and we worked with a really, really well-known producer and mixer named Chris O'Dalgie. He's literally worked with everybody from Aretha Franklin, Tina Turner, to the Rolling Stones and Green Day. I mean, you name it, he's worked on their albums. And he did a really great thing. He captured the energy and the enthusiasm that we bring to our live shows, and he put it on that album. So when you hear these classic Yacht Rock songs that we cover, they have a whole new energy. And we've actually had people come up to us and say, you know what, I can't listen to the originals anymore because I like the Yachtley Crew version of these songs even better now.
Wow. Even Brandy? I mean, come on.
Well, we haven't recorded that one yet, but I'll tell you what, when Tommy starts to sing that song during the show,
yeah,
people lose their minds.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
People love Brandy, man. It's just one of the classics for sure.
How'd you hook up with Mr. Lord Alge? Because like you said, he's produced everybody. It's a name you see on album credits a lot. Like, how did that connection happen?
Well, you know, we spent a lot of time in and around Hollywood, you know, and just rubbing elbows and you know, beating the pavement, as they say. But really it goes to our manager, Andy Gould. He's a music industry legend. He's been around forever. He got that relationship going. And when he told Chris, you know, what we do, Chris was like, are you kidding me? This is amazing. And he wanted to be a part of it. He saw our vision. He got what we do and the vibe. And he saw how many people are responding to this music. And he said, you know what, let's do something. Let's work together. And he's as passionate about it as we are.
And so what are the covers you guys do on the EP?
Let's see. We have Lido Shuffle.
Oh, yeah.
By Christopher Cross.
Give Away by Robbie Dupree.
Oh, yeah.
How Deep Is Your Love, which, again, is borderline yacht rock, but it's, you know, we're doing our own thing with it.
So, and then our original song is called Sex on the Beach, and we wrote that and recorded that during the pandemic because we didn't have a lot else to do. But we wanted to write a song that really fit, you know, hand in hand with these 70s and 80s soft rock hits. So, you know, we sat down and we looked at the theme, the chord structure, the progressions. You know, we kind of got some inspiration from the songs that we've been playing for 7 years. And Tommy actually said to me, he goes, I want to write this song. And he goes, you know, I want the kind of the chorus to be like sex on the beach and like it's all these different drinks.
Inspired by the Pina Colata song. And I was just like, well, that's such a huge song and people love singing about this, you know, about a drink. I was like, well, let's sing about all these other different drinks and, you know, what, and this and that, and you can have this and you could have that drink. And then, like, what's the fun? Oh, yeah, Sex on the Beach. That's
exactly. And then, you know, I don't know if you've ever seen any interviews with Rupert Holmes when he was writing Escape, the Pina Colata song. He started writing and he knew immediately, oh, this is a story song. This is a love story song. So when we were writing down the list of all these drinks, I was like, how do you make this something that people like, you know, and get them involved in the song? And I was like, well, we make it a love story. You know, I hadn't even seen that interview with Rupert Holmes when I came up with that idea, but in the last couple of years, I've seen him talking about writing that song in a very similar process. And so we made it this love story about the guy and a girl meet in a bar and, you know, and they're kind of flirting and, you know, and he says, you know, what do you want? She says, oh, I'll have sex on the beach. And all of a sudden you have this cool innuendo and, you know, this flirtation and people seem to really respond. The coolest thing is when we're playing a show, you know, sometimes we play that song, sometimes we don't, but we have people in the audience shouting, play Sex on the Beach.
People are like, why did you play Sex on the Beach?
I'm going to run through just a couple of artists here. It's artists that I think you may cover songs from them, but I want to just check the Yacht Rock cred on them, if that's okay with you guys.
Sure.
All right. I'm going to start with Frankie and the Knockouts.
I don't know that that's totally straightforward yacht rock, but again, that might be a scenario where it depends on the song.
Yeah.
You know?
They had that big hit with, what was that, Sweetheart, I think. late 70s.
Yeah. I would say maybe Yacht Rock adjacent. That might be a little fringe.
They did have the future Bon Jovi drummer Tico Torres in the band. I don't know if that hurts or helps them. Yeah. Now, I know you guys play Hall & Oates. I never would consider them yacht rock. Am I wrong in thinking that?
Yes. But not entirely, because some of their stuff is just, it's too 80s, it's a little too new wave. But, they had such an incredibly immense career. They started in the early 70s. Mm-hmm. So, but there are definitely songs that are very, very yacht rock. You Make My Dreams Come True. Mm-hmm. A Man Eater is very straightforward, considered very, very much straightforward yacht rock. Sarah Smile.
Yeah. The purists might disagree with that, but we're very much, sorry, I'm losing my voice. We did 5 shows in a row. Purists might disagree with that, but in general, like the crowd loves it when we play Hall & Oates, and it's smooth, They're a smooth band.
It does, I mean, the Sarah Smile, and then especially to me, like, I Can't Go For That. That's very yachty. I would.
So yacht rock. Yep.
Now, what do you think about some of the works of Neil Young?
I would say no, but he did do A Lot of Love. He wrote that song, which was then covered. I can't remember her name.
Nicolette Larson.
She was a one hit. Thank you, Nicolette. And that's a very yachty song for sure. Yeah. And but it was written by Neil. And Neil, hey, listen, Neil Young. I'm like his number one fan. I'm obsessed with Neil Young. And but yeah, he's
much more classic rock or folk. Yeah. Americana, so
which version of Neil you're talking about?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Again, sometimes it's hard to pin down because these artists evolve and their songwriting had evolved over their career. So you might get a song or two that just has that yacht rock vibe. But really, what kind of defines a lot of this music is there's an influence of jazz, R&B, and these artists wanted to take the kind of the direction that rock and roll was going, and they wanted to introduce some elements that they weren't seeing. So in interviews with like Kenny Loggins and Michael McDonald and Christopher Cross, these guys were really, really good musicians. Yes. And they wanted to add harmonies and melody. Steely Dan too, by the way, who we haven't even mentioned. I feel embarrassed about. But these guys, they were the best songwriters and the best musicians in the world, and they wanted to push the envelope in the quality of the composition. And, so they looked to everywhere that they could, R&B and jazz, and they really wanted to make their songwriting be identifiable as something that was not on the radio. And in some ways, when this music, came out and, in the years and decades after, it's what kind of got it sidelined into this like soft rock, guilty pleasure, genre. And in some ways they got sidelined. But I love seeing that it's had this total resurgence now and that people, are appreciating it for what it is.
Well, I bring up Neil Young because he made an album with Stephen Stills in the mid-'70s called Long May You Run. Now, aside from the title track, which is very folky, I challenge you guys to listen to that and tell me that wasn't the seed that was planted that created the yacht rock tree or kelp forest, I guess would be.
That's an interesting theory. I love that. I love the title track, and I think it has is Fountain Blue on that too. That song.
Yeah, Fountain Blue, but Midnight on the Bay, Ocean Girl, Black Coral. If you listen to it, they're singing. Go back and listen to that. They're singing about all that stuff. I love it. Yeah, they're singing about it. They may not have been hits, but the seed was planted. Maybe Boz Scaggs got a whiff of that. Maybe Christopher Cross.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised knowing how many of these artists collaborated on each other's albums. I wouldn't be surprised to find out at all if Neil Young was at a party with Michael McDonald and Christopher Cross. Right. Or Kenny Loggins, and any one of these guys, and was like, hey, what are you working on? Oh, that's cool. Those are some of and they were listening to the same stuff. They were in the same studios a lot of the time.
And Yacht Rock's known for its big harmonies, and like Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young is like they were like
they were the godfathers of harmonies, back in the 60s. So.
Would you consider them yacht rock?
No, sadly. And they're some of my favorite artists, but no.
Not even the Southern Cross? That's yachty.
I think Southern Cross could pass.
Southern Cross could pass. Okay. Yeah, Southern Cross could pass. We used to warm up at that back in the day.
Awesome. Well, Philly Ocean and Warwick's Tommy Buoy, thank you very much for joining us. And Yachtley Crew will be bringing the big giant show over to Indian Ranch once again, right there by the lake, right on the water. Get the full vibe. Now, listen, I was there 2 weeks ago. I saw the OG, Christopher Gross, performing there. So you're coming in behind a trail that he's blazed. So you better be good this time.
A lot of venues that he plays.
Oh, yeah. I wonder why. I had a blast, man. I had a Zen moment where he was playing sailing and, all those boats are out there on the water and the sun is shining. I'm like, wow, I am like inside the song right now. It was fantastic.
Did you say you were blazing?
There may have been some of that. Maybe. Kind of goes
he
along.
was blazing.
He was blazing. We were all blazing. It was a very nice day.
Fair enough.
Right, but looking forward to seeing you guys. And then the EP Seize the Day, SEAS Seize the Day. Is that available everywhere? Can people hear that everywhere?
Everywhere you can stream your music, and if you're a vinyl collector, we also have a limited edition flamingo pink pressed vinyl available on our website for $25 or $30, and it's honestly as beautiful as it is sounding as it is looking. So check that out. But you can listen to the album anywhere you stream your music. You can also come to one of our shows. We play all those songs live, and we'd love to see you. We love our fans, and we're really excited to be coming back to Indian Ranch and the entire Boston area. It's going to be a great weekend.
All right, Yachtley Crew. Thanks a lot, you guys. I appreciate your time.
I'm coming home, baby.